Being a people pleaser is actually the thing that will kill you. And I know this from experience because I was a huge people pleaser. And here's the reality check. If you knew what I'm about to share with you at the end of this video, you would stop being a people pleaser. But it's because of this one thing, you keep doing it. Stop being a people pleaser. Why is it costing you? Listen, at the end of the day, people don't respect a people pleaser. When you stop being a people pleaser, that is actually when your life changes. And I know this through experience. So like if you're a man and you want to get a woman, right? A lot of times when you've been conditioned to be a people pleaser, maybe you had a narcissistic mom, maybe you were bullied, maybe you had parents who were not supportive, or you had parents who never taught you how to resolve conflict. You go through life thinking that people pleasing will get you your way. It will help you get the girl. It will help you get more love, more sex, more respect, relationship, more success, an easier time at your job. But at the end of the day, when it comes to when you're trying to pursue a woman, being a people pleaser is actually the thing that will kill you. And I know this from experience because I was a huge people pleaser. I'm going to tell you a story, and I want you to stay to the very end because at the end, I'm going to tell you what to do to stop people pleasing. And here's the reality check. If you knew what I'm about to share with you at the end of this video, you would stop being a people pleaser. But it's because of this one thing, you keep doing it. So why do we become a people pleaser? In fact, if you are a people pleaser, just in the comments, just type in PP. You don't even have to write out the whole thing, but I want to know if I'm speaking to you. And I want you to know that you're not alone. It's weird. Even as I'm saying this, like I can feel my throat tightening up. And that's what a lot of you may be feeling. If you're a people pleaser, ooh, I can feel it. Like I'm a bit of an empath. People pleasers, when they go to use their voice, they can physically feel it. Like let's say you're going to approach a woman. Maybe you're going to stand up to your girlfriend. You're going to stand up to your wife. You're going to ask your wife for, more sex. You're going to ask her to open up to you. But that people pleaser inside of you, what it does is it starts blocking, it starts shutting down your throat chakra. And so you'll feel that anxiety, that tension. It's like something is physically like clenching your throat, stopping your voice. And that's what happens to a lot of people pleasers is they don't have a voice. And so what happens when you don't have a voice? When you're trying to pursue a woman, you can never ever get to speak out of your real desires. You never get to speak out of what you really want because you've been so conditioned, you've been so programmed to not speak up, to not use your voice, to make everybody happy. Just keep going with the flow. It's your job to keep everyone smiling. It's your job to keep the woman happy. Like everything is your job. The responsibility, the weight of it is on your shoulders and you're like, fuck, I just don't want to feel this way anymore. Listen, babe, if that's you, stick with me on this video because we're going to get you out of that. Because listen, at the end of the day, for some of you, if you're really coming to terms with this in your life and you're starting to see it, you're going to see it for what it is. And it's torment. It's being in torment. But if you're on the beginning of this and you've not really like been open and this is something new for you, you're going to be like, Arica, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. But let me ask you this. Do you keep getting your desires, your wishes, and what you want put on the back burner? I want you to think about that in your job, with your friends, with women, with money. Are you always last to getting what you want? And if you actually were honest with yourself, when that keeps happening, underneath, there is something inside of you that will not be okay with that. You may be coping with it, But in the end, your body, your nervous system is really not having it. It's not appreciating it. Your stomach probably gets tied in knots. Maybe you're not the throat person, or maybe you're both the throat, but also your stomach's in knots. It's like you shut everything down to make everybody happy. So how do I know this so viscerally? How do I know what I'm talking about? I used to be a huge people pleaser. In fact, what I'm going to share with you in the end, I have to continuously remind myself, because there's that part of me that wants to go back there, because it gets ingrained into our nervous system. It's what we use to survive and feel safe in this world. So when we come out of it, sometimes it's still in our conditioning. So I grew up in a very religious home. My parents, they came from their own family backgrounds, and for them, like, religion was something that they found a lot of safety in. So that's what we were brought up in. The problem with growing up in a religious home, and maybe this is you, is you start understanding a lot about fear, control, manipulation. It's like, if you don't do things right, God's going to be mad at you. You're not going to get the blessing. You're not obedient, you can't be blessed. And there's like all these things that get programmed in our psyche. But the problem is when me growing up in that kind of a background, what I did was I started feeling like I couldn't trust myself. And when you don't trust yourself, you don't use your voice. And the reality is, when you grow up, for me, in a religious home, when you do use your voice, it's like the fear of punishment follows after that. So like, what do I mean? It's like, let's say I'm in school and, a teacher does something and I stand up for myself, and I'll never forget, like, I had this teacher, she was really abusive in the 4th grade. She wanted my parents to join like Amway, and they were just not into it. That's not them. And I felt like she was purposely like bullying me. Like, she would come by my desk and I could feel her like kick my desk, or she would like torment me. Like, she would bring me to her desk and be like, why weren't your parents at the Amway meeting last night? Like, this woman was like just bullying me, trying to get my parents to perform in this business. Well, I was terrified to stand up to her. I was terrified to tell my parents, because why? I was afraid I was going to get punished. So what did I do? Instead of like standing up to this woman, telling her to F off, reporting her to the principal, telling my parents about it, I did just the opposite. I let this bully of a woman continue to harass me as a child, 4th grade here. And I went into the exact opposite. I went into people pleasing. I went out of my way to kiss her ass, to make her like me. I remember her even coming by our home, and she talked to us kids in the 4th grade about making our bed. And she came by our home for business with my parents. And so she came by our home, and I was like, Miss So-and-so, I made my bed, go look at my bed. Like, I went into overdrive of trying to make this toxic, sick, occult, whatever you want to call this psycho woman, happy. But why? Because I was already conditioned to please people because of the fear of punishment. And this might be hitting home for you. So if you're listening to this, I want you to know, like, if you've been following my work, you may be like, I would never ever see Arica Angelo today pleasing anybody. Like, she is a strong woman, she's independent, she's fierce. But what I did, what I'm going to share with you at the end of this video, what I did to turn this around, it's because of that I became who I am today. But that's not who I was. My story was, I was a kid who grew up in a very religious environment that was afraid of punishment, afraid to use my voice. And so to survive, to compensate for that, I would people please. But that people pleasing was costing me my identity. What happens is when we just make everybody happy, we are giving them pieces of who we are. We're giving them our desires, our needs, the things that we're trying to accomplish in this world. We start settling and negotiating who we are in order to get their approval. But the reality is, the more you give away yourself, you're actually losing yourself. And this is what sabotages men with women, is when they start giving themselves away and not reserving what they want, their desires, speaking up for themselves. What happens is that woman feels like he's needy, that he's wimpy, that he's fearful. That's why we come up with these terms called simps and betas and all these other crazy things. It's because he is essentially feeding himself off. He's giving himself away in order of hoping to obtain the woman. But the reality is, if you were to use that and you obtain her, when she comes to you, there's nothing for her to hold on to because you've scattered and given so much of yourself away. So how do you change that? The way that you change that is first by using this right here. It's this mouthpiece, and it's called using your voice and learning how to say no. The day that I started saying no to people, I remember walking out of a marriage of 7 years, and I got into this marriage to make God happy, to make my parents happy, to make everybody happy, except for myself. And eventually I brainwashed myself into thinking like, yeah, this is what I want. And the whole time I was like, this is not what I want. So when I said no, and I said, I'm leaving this marriage and I'm leaving everyone behind, I'm leaving my community, I'm leaving my family, I'm leaving everybody behind, that was the day that I got my life back. But the reason why you're not using this is because you don't know what to say. Now, the nice thing for me was I was born with this gift of communication. I've always been really good communicating, which is why I am here helping you. I've always had an ability to communicate, but when I gave myself permission to communicate, that's when my life started changing. That's when I got in the driver's seat. That's when my dreams started becoming true. That's when I started going off and traveling the world and living the world and having this grandiose life, was when I gave myself permission to use my voice. But you're not using your voice because you don't know what to say. That's what it really boils down to. And if that's you, I have my Boundaries Bible. It's like $54. And it's a whole, like, it's scripts for every single scenario. So if you're like, that's me, Arica, I get freaking tongue-tied. I get afraid because I just don't know what to say. I can't tell you how many men come to me and they're like, Arica, can you just write down what I need to say in this scenario? That's why I created this Boundaries Bible, because I have another product called Compliments Bible, and everyone was buying that. Everyone loved that. It's not even on my website anymore. But what I saw was, wait a minute, people want script. They want to know what to say. You're not standing up for yourself because you don't know how. No one's ever empowered you to do that. And that's what I want to do. I want to give you the keys. I want to give you the power so that when you get in an uncomfortable situation, that you have a text, you have something, you have a roadmap to look at and be like, I know exactly what to say. And giving you the courage, like as you hear my voice, as you read the Boundaries Bible, that you're going to feel the power, my strength, partnering with yours and going, I know what to say, and I'm going to give myself permission. So right now, I give you permission to say the things that you need to say. I give you permission to stop being the people pleaser. I give you permission to stop giving parts of yourself away to everybody, hoping that you're going to get love from them. No. I give you permission to start respecting yourself and being proud of you and demanding love from yourself by standing up for you today, by giving you permission to say yes from your voice so that you can stop living a life of disappointment and failure and frustration and insecurity because you're so depressed about who you are, because you're so afraid to use your voice, that if you really were able to stand up for yourself, it would change the trajectory of your life. And that's why you need to get that Boundaries Bible, because it's going to tell you exactly what you need to say, and you have permission. So when you get this Boundaries Bible, I want you to open it. And as you open it, that there's going to be an energy on it to give you permission to say those things. And when you start saying those things, you better email me and tell me how your life is changing. But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you a secret about us women. Ultimately, we women, we think like we want a guy to give us what we want, right? Just give me what I want and I'll be happy. I think humans, we think this almost childlike, like a child, right? But a woman will deeply respect you when you know the appropriate times to tell her no. A woman will deeply feel safe with you when you speak up for yourself. We need to know our boundaries. We need to know our parameters. And when a woman, pay attention to this because this will change your life. When a woman knows that she can push you around, that she can manipulate you, that she can do different things to get her way with you, and then you fall for it and you do those things, even if you tell yourself that you're winning, like, I'm gonna get good sex tonight. Okay, yeah, you may have won the battle, but you lost the war. You lost the war. You're not going to win her heart that way. Why? Because she ultimately is not going to trust you. She's not going to feel safe with you because she knows that you're weak. She knows if I can conquer him, then guess what? Anyone else in this world can conquer him. And if everyone can easily conquer him, then I'm not safe. He can't trust me. I can't trust him. I can't lean on him for support. He's not going to be my warrior. He's not going to be my emotional warrior. Hell no. So ultimately, I don't trust him because if I can break him, then that tells me anybody else can break him. And I want a man that can't be easily broken. So I can't trust in his strength. I can't trust in his character. I can't trust in him as a man. But when you flip the script, when you start using your voice, when you start standing up, using those scripts in the Boundaries Bible, and you start standing up for yourself, she may not like it at first. She may get pissed off at you and be like, you're not giving me my way. I'll never forget. I tell this story about how I didn't get my way with my dad one time. I was trying to manipulate my parents and I didn't get my way. And my dad said this to me. He was like, listen, don't you ever come between your mother and I because you will lose every time. You're the child. You're here. Her and I, we're here. We're a unit and you don't break that unit. And what that did for me was it made me trust my dad's leadership. It made me trust his strength. I knew that my dad, my family unit could not easily be broken. And she needs to know that about you, that she cannot easily break you down, that there is substance inside of you, that you have strength inside of you, that you are a pillar that she can rest on. But if she feels like she can break her pillar, then you're done. She's never gonna respect you. She's never gonna love you. She's never gonna wholeheartedly give her heart, her body, her mind, her heart, her spirit to you. Soul. It's not gonna happen. It turns around when you start speaking up for yourself. And it may be scary as hell, but the quicker, listen, Linda, the quicker that you do this, the quicker you actually get what you want. But if you keep pissing off your time, making everybody else happy, the longer you prolong your pain. Quit prolonging your pain. Change it. Oh, and be sure to subscribe. So tell me in the comment section if this is you. I got really fired up on this one. You can tell that this is something that I have struggled with because I get really effing passionate about it, because I know that when a person does this, it changes their life. Just like my life has changed, why I have my own TV show, why I live in the south of France outside of Monaco, why I have all the glorious things that I have, is because I started using my damn voice. And you gotta get started. You gotta get started now. Bye.